Welcome to the Edamame Anime Club, where we nearly got ran down by a Vespa on our way to film this episode. I'm Steve, and I'm joined by my co-host
Alexander. As always, great to be here.
Like always, great to be here. What anime are we doing tonight?
We're doing a classic, Fully Cooley.
That is definitely a classic. Before we get into the episode, we like to crack open a cold one, like usual.
Yeah.
All right.
I decided to go with I haven't tried this one yet before. It's called Yellow Rose. Got a picture of some chick on there, and it's a Smash IPA, which I thought was appropriate since Naota wants to smash. So.
Yeah, not Naota wants to smash, right?
Yeah.
I think Haruko wants to smash.
Haruko, yeah, okay.
She wants to smash more.
No, when I mentioned Naota, I meant with the bat. So.
Oh, with the bat, yeah.
Yes.
With the guitar.
Yeah.
Let's try this out. Jesus, the hops, bro. Yeah. Kampai.
Kampai.
You almost forgot. Woo!
I'm normally a fan of IPAs. Like, I really like IPAs, and I don't know, something about this one.
Yeah, it sucks. No, it's just it's bitter. At the end, it's bitter.
Yeah, it's bitter, but it's not like bitter in the hoppy way.
No, it's bitter at the end. It's like right now, it's bitter. I'm still tasting it. It's bitter. It tastes like whenever you drink coffee and it's settled. Yeah, it's it ain't bad like flavor wise, but yeah, it's pretty bitter. So, but I mean, what's the percent alcohol in it?
6.8.
All right. Well, obviously, you drink this, you're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna have a good time. So, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, dude. Should we give this a rating?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5. Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 edamames. I think that's a good one.
Basically average. Yeah.
All right, let's get into this episode.
All
right. So now, I don't know who brought it up. I know I mentioned Fully Cooley, but I know that you watched it and I've watched it.
We both watched it several times in the past, and this will be, I think, my third rewatch.
I've watched it actively maybe 3 or 4 times, and I've watched it background maybe, I don't know, twice.
Like just throw it on as like background noise.
Yeah, like it's like you put it on and you're just you're not really acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Like you're just watching. You're peeking your head up.
Yeah,
like, at good parts, because it is one of those animes.
Like you throw it on like the second monitor on your computer while you're doing stuff, and then you glance over at it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Or like maybe you have like a date, and she's like, "You want to know any cool anime?" And you throw on Fully Cooley, and then you're like, "Fully Cooley." You hit her with that one. Yeah. So I actually got introduced by this. Your brother introduced this to me.
Oh yeah.
He brought this up. I mean, there was like one night, dude, we were really drunk, and we were talking about anime, and he brought up Fully Cooley, and I was thinking like that sounds like FLCL.
Yeah.
Because the title is FLCL. But I was like, and I looked it up. It's like Fully Cooley, and then it just kind of and then it took off. Yeah. It is a phenomenal anime, though.
Yeah.
I'm glad we picked it because this is one we've always watched, and it has such good rewatchability.
When it was airing on Adult Swim back in the day, I actually recorded all the episodes of it on VHS.
Was it Adult Swim or was it Toonami?
I want to say Adult Swim.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it if it was on Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I guess I don't know. I have to look.
It's not that important. Yeah, it's not important. Either way, I know it was airing on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
So I do think I just never watched it while it was airing. I watched it maybe like how long we were friends? Like 8 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, probably around like the 7 years ago. I probably watched it the first time. So, all right. Well, let's get into some background information.
A bit of background information. All right.
Yeah.
So, Fully Cooley is an original video animation that was created and directed by Kazuya Tsurumaki and written by Yoji Inokido, and produced by the FLCL production committee, which consisted of Gainax, Production IG, and King Records. I think most people here have heard of Gainax.
Yeah.
They animate 2 of one of the most popular animes ever, I think.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. It's funny because they're both mechas, right?
They're both mechas.
Which is funny because I asked you this the other day. I said, "Do you think Fully Cooley is a mecha?"
Yeah, and I was like, "No, it's not."
I say it is a mecha.
It's not a mecha. No.
What do you guys think? Do you think Fully Cooley is a mecha? Let us know in the chat. We want to know who's right, who's wrong. But yeah, so they do Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah,
which is my number 1.
Yeah, and then Gurren Lagann, which you haven't seen, but that one's phenomenal. Gurren Lagann's very good.
You talk about it a lot, so I'm assuming it's really good. And there's multiple like adaptations of it, right? Or is it just one?
Gurren Lagann, no, I think it's just one go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, that was a very prolific one. Can I read something from Hulu real quick?
Sure.
This is the Hulu. So Hulu, I watched it dub, and I know you did too, right?
Yeah.
Which is weird because you normally watch it sub.
Yeah.
You're a stickler for the sub. The dub and the sub synopsis for the episodes are both different.
I wonder why.
I have no idea, and I feel like the dub may be a whole different anime than the sub. But let me read you what the dub is, because you're not even going to recognize the anime. Naota's older brother went to the U.S. to play baseball, and his brother's girlfriend is making advances on him. There's a so-called alien girl hitting on him, too, with a guitar. Did we mention the robots keep springing from Naota's head? That's exactly what
That's the Japanese description?
That's the dub. You want the sub?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Naoto is a detached sixth grader afflicted by the pangs of puberty. When a crazed girl on a motor scooter runs him over and brings him with a bass guitar, his life gets weird. Giant fighting robots shooting from his skull, weird. By the way, that word, giant fighting robots shooting from his skull, are all hyphenated between. So that's totally, it's like two totally different stories.
Yeah.
Which is very odd.
The second one sounds coherent. The first one just, I don't know. They outsourced it. I don't know.
They're emphasizing, like, they use ChatGPT to write that.
Yeah.
They're emphasizing the brother aspect of it, which he is.
I was going to say, the first one makes it sound like it's going to be like some weird slice of life, like jealousy anime.
Yeah, no, it really is. Like, I was like, that's weird. Like, his brother is, I guess he is an important character, but really, only because he defines my memes.
The idea that he represents is important.
Yeah.
That's all it's important for him.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to read that out there.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
So ongoing, it's obviously 6 episodes long.
Mm-hmm.
The reception was extremely good for Fully Cooley, both in Japan and the U.S. Here in the U.S., it actually has garnered its own cult following.
Agreed.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone is aware of Fully Cooley, but I'll be honest, I don't hear people put it in their tops.
Yeah, they don't, right? I think it's just because it's old now. I mean, it's over 20 years old now.
Yeah, and it's not mainstream. It's like everyone else has like a mainstream anime.
Yeah.
I feel like Death Note's in a lot of tops. I feel like One Piece is in a lot of tops. My Hero, Demon Slayer, but Fully Cooley is not on anyone's top.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting.
It should be, yeah.
Maybe it has to do with that. So it's also had 4 seasons released, which I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, so the first 2 new seasons were called Fully Cooley Progressive and Fully Cooley Alternative. And then in 2023, this year, they released 2 more seasons, each 6 episodes long, called Fully Cooley Grunge and Fully Cooley Shoegaze. So
shoegaze is like a type of music, like a genre of music? Because it sounds like that's what they're going for.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
All right. You got anything else?
No, not really. How do you feel about the wanting to watch these new seasons? Because I feel like it's gonna ruin my enjoyment of the first season, like the first season Fully Cooley. Like I'm afraid to watch it.
Some anime don't need multiple seasons, and I think everyone pestered probably for this more seasons because honestly, it is kind of open ended, and I think that creates like this ambiguous idea that like I need more.
Yeah.
But they can't, because people can't just let it go. Can't let an anime just be ambiguous. Let us interpret it. They want it to be defined endings. So me personally, I think it's a standalone show, and I think it doesn't need more seasons.
So
now,
pretend these other ones are spin-offs or unrelated. Like
yeah, not even. I'm gonna watch them eventually.
Yeah.
I know I am.
Yeah.
But I know that I'm gonna watch them with an open heart. Maybe. I guess I get to enjoy that. It might just clean up the timeline and maybe have answers to some of the characters, like Eyebrow Man.
Yeah.
And things like that. So
there are a ton of unanswered questions. So.
But I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna watch the other ones. Yeah. All right, you got anything other background information?
No.
Yeah,
let's get into it.
All right, let's get into it. So let's get into our reviews, and I'll let you go first because I have a controversial one.
Okay.
So go ahead.
So for me, this anime was great, fantastic. Like the animation, amazing. Like I really liked the characters to some extent, but like it's just like enjoyable from start to finish. Like there's very very small things I can nitpick on it, and they're not really important. Mm-hmm. So overall, for me, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5 edamames.
Wow, that's good, man. That's really high up there.
Yeah,
I agree. Man. I mean.
Like the things that I would nitpick on are kind of like we were talking about with the seasons. Like I wanted more background information on like Haruko or more character information, a little bit more explanations. They just kind of just dive into it, and you just got to go along with it. And not that I didn't like that. I just wish that they had somehow incorporated it in there. Like, I don't know, maybe like one more episode longer.
Well, I think Grunge is actually a prequel. So
Okay.
I think that. So personally, I think this anime is amazing. I think it's way ahead of its time. It came out what 2001.
Oh, for sure, it was ahead of its time.
What year did it come out? Because I think it's way ahead of what was being produced in. What year?
2001.
Okay, so 2001, 22 years ago. I can't believe that it came out at that time, because if it came out now, it'd still be good.
Yeah.
It still would be blowing people's minds away. So for me, the music is top notch. The Pillows, right?
The Pillows, yeah.
Amazing. They did such a great job on this. I mean, every scene that they're in playing music has been. There's even a calm scene where like it's like building up and it's really good. Yeah. So there's a couple scenes with that. I really enjoy almost every character. There's not one character that I dislike, even the eyebrows guy, because he adds the comedic relief, in my opinion. So the music, the characters. Now the story is ambiguous, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I like that. So, and I like the different style approaches that they keep doing, like the different styles they write the anime. So for the first time ever on this show.
First time ever
on this show.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5 edamames.
That's pretty crazy, because you talk a lot about giving animes 5 out of 5 rating.
I don't think that I might ever do this again. I say that now because I can't think, because at the end of the day, I drove up here and I could not think of one thing I hated about this anime.
Yeah.
But really, when I thought about it, I said the number one, like the stat that makes this better than other ones is I've watched this like 7 times.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I've only watched Neon Genesis twice. That's my favorite anime.
Yeah.
I've only seen Death Note one time, which is an amazing anime. Yeah. So these anime that are like number one on everyone's top, to me, the number one stat is is that the rewatchability for me, because it's it brings me home. The nostalgia factor weighs heavily. So I really do enjoy it.
That's a great point. I mean, of course we both have rewatched anime on our own. How many anime have you actually like gone out of your way to rewatch besides Neon Genesis?
I mean, honestly, I think I try to rewatch Death Note.
Death Note?
And I didn't get through it because the second part.
Yeah. The second part. Yeah. Well, that's an entirely different discussion.
Second part of Death Note.
Yeah. Okay.
But what about you? I mean, you've probably rewatched a bunch of anime.
Yeah. I've actually rewatched Bleach because they reannounced the second season of Bleach 10 years after it came out. So I was originally watching Bleach as it aired. So like week by week, and then there'd be like 6 or 7 month stretch or a year between seasons, and then I'd watch it again. So I was like there from the beginning. So when they announced the 10 years later that they're gonna bring it back, I rewatched Bleach again.
You gotta think. I mean, that was probably like a 5-year endeavor. Because it's like what 17 seasons.
I actually rewatched it with my brother. Like Marcus watched the entire season of Bleach because I would wait for him every episode. So like that probably took us like 3 or 4 months to get through. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely well worth. And I do like that idea, but that's crazy. I don't think I've ever watched. I'm embarrassed to say I do think I've seen High School DD
more than once,
more than like twice. I think I binged it one time and then watched it again.
Season 1's pretty good. I'm still need to finish season 4. They changed like the directors and the animation companies and stuff. And
the story gets a little outlandish. It gets away from the boobies.
Yeah, it does. We're getting off on a tangent.
Yeah. All right. Enough of this.
Okay, back to FLCL.
Okay.
One of the things that I thought was really crazy about it, which I didn't really touch on, or I mean, you briefly did, but the music is all done by the Pillows, which at the time was like a famous band in Japan. So it'd be like, I don't know if Death Note had a musical scoring from like Rage Against the Machine, and that was all it was. They got the most mainstream like popular band, and they killed it.
I see what you're saying. I would think it'd be like if there was like a famous American show that said, "Man, I'm friends with like I'm friends with Creed, and I'm gonna have them to do the whole album for my movie." Yeah. That's what it feels like. Like the director was like, they're probably like the Pillows are probably like, "Oh, that's the same people that did Neon Genesis." Yeah. Let's jump on this. So that's all. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right, what are other people saying about this anime? They got to be talking good about it, right?
For the most part. I'll go ahead and read a good one first.
Yeah.
So this one's given by Deep Ion. He gives it a 9 out of 10. The most insane anime ever. When you start to watch this anime, it won't be long before you go, what the heck? Of course, this is exactly what it wants you to do. There's no trying to understand it, and there's no point of you getting upset about it. If you don't like it, don't watch it. This is an anime which stretches your imagination as well as the boundaries of animation. This is one of the most beautifully animated shows I have seen, and without a doubt, the most charming. The wonderful mix of characters, the weird story, along with the cruel and wicked sense of humor and the craziness, makes for one outrageous anime which will not disappoint. A must view. Just make sure to not give up on it. After a few viewings, you'll start to notice new things and realize what a true masterpiece this really is. You want something really different? Fed up with your usual garbage? You can't get further from reality than Fully Cooley.
Wow, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, and again, it's like if you don't like it, like if you're not gonna like it in the beginning, suck it up. It's 6 episodes. Normally I'm like, just drop it. No, suck it up. It's 6 episodes.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours of your time. How busy are you? Suck it up. Watch the next 5, and let us know afterwards.
Yeah.
And too many times, man, I swear they go. I watched the first episode. I hate the main character, the kid.
Yeah.
I hate this child. So you got to take it as it is. Now he's right. It did stretch your imagination. Again, 2001. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane for this to drop in 2001. Yeah. Was it post 9/11 or pre?
So I was actually clarifying. It finished airing in 2001, so it dropped in 2000, finished airing in 2001. So like right at the tail end of 2000 into 2001.
Oh, cool. So it was pre 9/11.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Because there's some like heavy themes that you could probably tie into like 9/11 with like the statues and shit.
Yeah, I could see.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's get a bad one. That was a good one. Let's get a bad one.
So this one's given by Jithin Durden. How the hell is this considered a classic? 2 out of 10. I like surreal experimental films and anime. I don't mind when it's bizarre or even incoherent as long as it has a point. Now this anime is bizarre and it does have a point, but it is also disgusting and gives so many wrong messages. This must be the kind of anime that makes many people hate anime. Over-sexualized girls all over, being extremely teasing with a nonsensical plot and visuals. The sad thing is, the creativity behind this anime is huge, with amazing animation and so many creative ways, although silly, to showcase the symbolisms.
This guy's a virgin. he thinks it's over sexualization from the girls. There's a lot of hugging, maybe a little heavy petting, but there's nothing too bad.
The biggest thing that happens is like they kiss. That's really about it. You're right. Never mind. He is a virgin.
Yeah. Bizarre. He says I've watched bizarre anime. Well, I'm curious. Like, what does he think of bizarre anime is? What's that weird one that you like?
I don't know.
It's a weird one. With the ghost girl. What are the School Days or what's the other one? Yeah, there's some weird ones that we watch. Those are bizarre ones. This one's not that bizarre. It is odd though.
So I've like showed it to you.
Yeah, you showed me one clip. It's not a good animation.
I don't know. That's the thing. I watch a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
A bizarre anime? No, see, I don't know. I mean, I could think of like weird ass anime. Like,
yeah. What would you consider a bizarre anime?
I don't know.
Putting you on the spot right now.
Yeah. Ishoku Reviewers was pretty bizarre. I didn't like that one. People hype it up as if it's cool shit, and I think it's the stupidest premise ever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I've never heard
It's
of
called Ishizoku Reviewers. I might have messed up the name, but translates to interspecies reviewers.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
No,
I've ranted about it. Yeah, I've ranted about it before.
Yeah. So I think this guy does not hit the mark.
I don't know. Other than that, actual bizarre, like JoJo's, I guess.
JoJo's is pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
Because it has in the title.
Mhm.
Anyways,
That's in the title.
I think this guy has probably only seen 3 anime.
This must have been his first anime. Yeah, like his second anime.
He's probably watched My Hero, Demon Slayer. This is his third one because somebody recommended it.
Yeah, and it's too weird for him, so he thinks it's disgusting. Yeah. All right.
Just wait till he gets to prison school.
All right. Sorry, Jithin Dirty. We had to.
Yeah, shit on you, virgin.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, let's get into the spoilers now.
All right. Spoiler sections.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Fully Cooley, go watch it.
Yeah, make sure to check it out. Let us know. Stop the video right now and go check out the anime. It's only 6 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Come back here and let us know if we hit all the marks. And if we missed a scene, throw it in the comments, please, so we can talk about it maybe next time.
Yeah.
or we'll just write a comment on top of it. All right, well, let's get into it. So the story really begins with a very kind of a romantic, like it's the scene between Mimi and
Naoto.
Yeah,
it's
odd because
Yeah.
they show like the romance.
It's
aspect
making you feel uncomfortable because like it's kind of the romance is like one-sided.
Yeah.
With like Mimi giving a bunch of attention to Naoto, and he just acts like he doesn't want it. You know?
Yeah, so we get a weird like love embrace from Mamimi, but Mamimi is like legit Charles. All right, you can still see Charles. Get down. Come here. All right, sorry guys. Charles is all up in there. He knew we were filming too.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing anything.
He's been waiting.
Yeah, he's been waiting. We do get that nice love interest between them. There we go. We do get a nice love interest between them two, and it actually comes back in episode 5. But the weird thing is that she has this love interest for his brother,
His older brother, and he's like overseas in America.
Yeah.
So.
Which is again, he has no role in this besides just being mentioned.
Yeah.
You never see him. I was kind of expecting the first time I watched it for him to come back. I was kind of expecting him to make a scene somewhere around there, but I don't think that. I kind of wish he would later on in the end.
Yeah.
All
right, we're back from that brief interruption.
Yeah. So again, back to the introduction of Fooly Cooly. We get this nice love interest between them two, which comes back in later season 4. At the end of season 4, we get a nice like embrace from Naoto, because Naoto is kind of standoffish.
Yeah.
Through the entirety of it all.
Yeah, he changes towards the end, but it's got its own plot reasons.
Yeah, but I do enjoy them too.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of like you had a little crush on your older brother's girlfriend for a while, and he goes away, and now it's just y'all two. He goes away to college, and it's y'all two now, and she just kind of feels lost.
Yeah.
And of course, like he's probably the spitting image of his brother.
Yeah.
Which we really don't get a glimpse of his brother. We get close, but we don't actually get a glimpse of it. But there's a photo reveal.
Is there?
Yeah, with Haruko. She pulls down the photo, and you see that he has the girlfriend, but you don't see his face.
Okay.
Just see like that part.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Mamimi is very likable. I actually had a lot of sympathy for her. Like.
Oh yeah.
They make it seem like she has like a lot of hardships going on.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Well, what's the name of this episode? Is this episode called Fooly Cooly?
It's just called Fooly Cooly, or Japanese translation, Furikuri.
Furikuri. Yeah. I really do like the very beginning introduction of all the characters, because it starts off with them two, but then of course we get the relationship for them is funny because they go and get a drink, and he's just like getting bullied by her.
Yeah.
She takes he puts the money in, and she puts the drink.
Takes the drinks that he doesn't like.
It's like sour, and he's like, I hate sour.
Yeah.
So we get that, and then of course here comes Haruko.
Yeah.
On the Vespa.
Yeah. The iconic yellow Vespa.
The Vespa, which I love. The Vespa can be its own character, really.
Yeah.
So the Vespa comes speeding and then hits him around, and then they do that animation where he's like spinning in air with dust everywhere.
Yeah, I thought that that's the same. It's doing the 360 thing, right? I couldn't tell. Is that a reference to the Matrix? Like, I honestly, that's what I was kind of getting. Because the Matrix came out in 1999, so they would have been able to see it, but I don't know.
There's a lot of references in there, and I wouldn't doubt that that's one of them. Yeah, because there's a lot of references from pop media, pop culture, and all the American. I'll talk about an American one that I think came back. That's a very common trope in a lot of movies and anime, but I'll talk about that a little bit later when we get into episode 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of references throughout the anime. I mean, should we name a couple? I mean, there was multiple Neon Genesis references.
Yeah, Neon Genesis. South Park was another reference.
You
can't miss that one.
You cannot miss that one. I think Trey Parker and Matt Stoney were probably laughing on their ass. They were probably super high in 2001 watching that. Because it was 2001. So I don't know when South Park came out, but I think in the 90s.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
South Park's it's got like 30 seasons or some shit.
So for it to be like that pop, like that popular to be put into an anime is really good.
Yeah.
They do references, and you said this. Let's get a little more, and then I'll talk about the reference that you made when you were talking about it the other day.
Okay.
But she gets hit. She's like, I killed him. He's dead.
Yeah.
And then I think that's
she like performed CPR on him,
right? Yes, she does. And
one of those disgusting scenes.
Yeah.
And then revives him, and then hits him in the head with a guitar, like right after she's done.
Yeah, which is funny. What did you think? Do you think that's because it's like putting him out of his misery?
I guess so. I don't really know what
Yeah,
she's going for.
yeah.
It's just like one of those oddball things. Like you're just like, what's going on right now?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. So he has a shiner.
Yeah, he's got like a bump on his head. Like it's like a bump. Like it's actually more like a horn poking out of his head.
It looks hideous.
Yeah. And so like he's looking at it when he's at home and he decides to cover it up with like a patch and go to school or whatever. And so don't they like convince him to like go to the nurse's office?
I thought he went to a doctor's office because there's the scene that I think you're referring to is he's actually at a train station or a bus stop and he's standing there and Haruko's there. Yeah. Well, they were talking about Haruko at the
at the school.
There's a girl riding around in Vespa hitting people, and I think she was looking for something. And then he of course goes to the either the nurse's office center, but she pulls up and says something like, what's under your bandage, and he's like, nothing. You should get out of here, or whatever. His little dialogue, and then she's like looking away, and then he's gone.
Yeah,
he's at the doctor, and she says something, and I don't know what she says, but she's like, you have a case of something in your head, like you need to do a love embrace. Anyways, she says. While she's saying these, you don't know, you're not a doctor, and of course it's Haruko, in disguise, and then you see the doctor and the nurse tied up, which I thought was so funny because it's like, what are the doctors and nurses? Well, she tied them up. They like covered that base. So like right after this, he goes home, and this happens. This sequence is actually like I think this is kind of hit or miss for people, but it's where they start animated like manga style. Like he goes home, he goes home and they're just eating. I know that Haruko's there, right? Yeah, he's like, what is she doing here? Yeah. And then she's eating like the food, and which is funny because it's always like she's eating the food, and he's like, this is our new house guest, this is our housemaid, and then he's like, oh, I already met him. We kissed.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
And the dad's all like, what? Fully coolie? You're fully coolie.
You're fully coolie. You're fully. And then he's the first one to say it.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah,
he's the first one to say that, which I thought was so funny. Because to me, the dad is it's like an exaggerated version of Ichigo Kurosaki's dad.
Oh yeah,
like it's just like he's just so outlandish, and he's like, and you'll find that through the anime that all the adults are kind of like children.
Sort of, yeah.
They're all very kind of they're very animated, and they're like very expressive, and they're always acting out. Yeah. Like even the teacher acts out.
Yeah, they're not even. Yeah, no one's like cold, hard, and collected or anything. Everyone's always like playing everything off the cuff.
Even the grandfather,
yeah.
Who's reading Playboys and whatnot. So we can get a nice. It's a weird family structure, but that was what I was talking about, the references you made. So you told me that they were writing the manga as they were filming it, right?
Yes, it was so it's called an OVA for the original video animation. So there was no manga prior to base this on. So they created them alongside each other.
Yeah.
So,
which is also because there's a scene where they have the manga like popping up, and then they're like, all right, that's enough of the manga. It's too expensive. And then they walk off the set with the manga pictures, which is funny because they were writing it while they were filming. I thought it was so funny. There's a lot of fourth wall breaks.
Yeah.
Which I think is great.
Yeah, I don't mind the fourth wall breaks.
I enjoy it. Yeah.
The anime itself obviously isn't taking itself too seriously, so you can none of that's like immersion breaking or anything.
You could love this anime and I think I told you, like, you could be the biggest anime snob and find hidden meanings in all the things, or you can be like a young anime lover and find just dick jokes and boner jokes.
Yeah.
And we can live in the same. We're no longer mutually exclusive. Mm-hmm. We can all fit. Which is really nice. That's what this anime does.
Yeah. So after this little Naoto coming home and finding Haruko eating with him, he like goes upstairs, right, and like Haruko's like talking, like she's like, this is a interdimensional space officer like Haruko, and she's like talking about like Naoto or whatever, and then she turns around and is like, oh, were you listening? And then that's when he's asking like, who are you? And she's like, I'm an alien.
Yeah.
Then,
she keeps mentioning that she's an alien, which is, we don't believe her.
Yeah, Naoto doesn't believe her.
Well, I don't either.
Yeah.
But we don't know anything about her. That's about all that's just the extent we know of her.
Yeah.
Well, they have a weird like sleep scene where he says like, you're not allowed to sleep on this top bunk.
Yeah, because that's where his brothers slept at. And it's leaving out all the stuff there, like his baseball bat, his glove, and all this other stuff,
And so she goes, well, I'll just sleep here. And of course, he gets his pillow and walks downstairs. And I think this is where he runs into his father. And This is kind of a sad scene.
It is sad.
Like, they have a little like joke scene where he's like "Fulikuli," whatever.
Yeah.
But then he gets deep and he says, "Your friend was here."
Yeah.
Or he says, "Your brother's girlfriend was here."
Yeah. Mamimi. He's
Yeah,
like,
my Mimi was here.
Yeah, she came to get the bread.
Yeah, the old bread, because they work in a bakery. They took the old bread, and that's when we get to find out that she's like homeless or poor.
Yeah, he's even like, is she poor? Like, I get being all weird about it.
Yeah, like I like judging.
Yeah, and so then Naoto decides to go find her because she was just there.
Yeah, which I'm curious about, like how that would be if in the sub, because it didn't sound like it was warrant him to run into, like, go find her.
Yeah, I think I was telling you this too. Like, I've never seen it dubbed, right?
Yeah,
I kind of want to, like, just to see the differences in like tone or the translation.
Yeah. No, I agree. I've been wanting to watch it subbed as well. Maybe we'll do that in another one.
Just reading this,
just do this whole episode again. What's that like? So this is a pretty cool scene. I like this scene because she's smoking a cigarette and she writes on her cigarettes.
Yeah.
Which is fucking awesome.
That's one of your favorite things to do, is write like little things in a cigarette. And you even, in our youthful crazy days, you'd hand me a cigarette and be like, "What's it say?" And I'd read it. And it'd always be something like kind of poignant or like,
it's always geared toward the moment.
Yeah.
Like I think I used to have one that was like morning, like depressed, big win, and then but hers are more meaningful. It says like, what does it say? Like no one knows best. Never knows best.
Never knows best. That's what it was,
which is kind of, I'm sure it has deep meaning, but that to me is like so cool. Like just to write on your cigarettes and have each cigarette, because a cigarette, and I guess maybe they're thinking of like a cigarette is killing you, so it should have meaning.
Well, it kind of, in Japan, I would think smoking a cigarette kind of makes you a delinquent, and so it kind of builds up that type of character for her. So she's like smoking this cigarette, right? And this is where the sad scene comes in, because she's talking about Naoto's older brother, her boyfriend or whatever, that's in America, and then Naoto is just like, he has an American girlfriend now, right?
Yeah, and it pans to like Haruko like opening, "I should have been snooping," and it shows like him, like a postcard with like a girl with blonde hair, and then it doesn't show their face, it just shows like them like at the beach or something.
Yeah,
and then she's like, "I'm overflowing."
Yeah,
I'm overflowing, and then of course. We get kind of the first weird, bizarre thing that guy was talking about that did the review, where something is happening to Naoto, and but Mamima is going through all these emotions, and I think, and I said this before, it's his hormones finally kicked in.
I could see that, yeah, because they constantly there's the constant analogy between the horn coming out of his head being like phallic, like basically representing.
Yeah, it's a dick joke through. Yeah. So he comes out, and you're right. Again, we're in the spoiler section, so too late. But everything that's coming out of his head is like hand related.
Yeah, it took me a minute to realize.
I didn't realize it until you told me, and I was looking for it.
Everything is a hand. So this first monster that comes out of his head is it's like a walking hand, like and so. What does he do? Haruko hits him in the head, and is that how the robot comes out? Where does that happen?
So it's like a red robot pulling on Naoto, and then Haruko comes and hits him, and basically hits the red off of the robot.
Yeah, turns it back blue.
But I just realized that it's only red when he eats Naoto, whenever Naoto is part of it. So she just hit Naoto out of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then, of course, there's another robot in there, and it splits them. And then we have like that fight scene, which every time there's a fight scene, Dusters comes on, which is a song by The Pillows, which is just such a great song. Josh should check it out. It's such a good song. They get in this fight, and they get in this squabble, and they're going back and forth. Of course, obviously they do win.
Yeah, the fight's honestly badass. It's honestly like, for how nonsensical and like comedic the anime is, like the fights are like gory. Like there's not blood in it, but it's like the robot, which is Kanti, his name becomes Kanti, is like tearing the guts out of this hand, like it's like a machine hand running around, and it's like just tearing it apart. Like it's pretty brutal.
And I like that. That's why it's mecha.
That's why it's a mecha.
But no, you're right. You're absolutely right, and it's pretty interesting, these fight scenes, and they have of course he wins. And that's kind of it, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a part that you mentioned to me that at the end there's like a narration, and I think he narrates a scene right here, because we haven't even touched base on the factory yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Naoto?
Yeah.
Well, he always ends the episodes with like, nothing ever happens here. Like it's just a boring town. Like what else is there to do?
But while he's saying that there's a giant iron
Yeah.
factor. It's an iron.
Yeah, I think that's the first time they show it, and like the alarm's going off and it's shooting the steam out.
Yeah.
Maybe he does monologue about the Medical Mechanica plant.
Medical
Yeah.
Mechanica is like this, and again, deep theories about this being that it's like big pharma or big corporation and like moving into your town.
That's like the symbolism. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I could definitely see that.
I see it as like they're really just like taking over this town, but nobody in the town goes in, and everyone that works there stays in there, which is funny to me because it's like why not like source give the whole town a place to work? But no, and that's what they call it, Medical Mechanica.
Yeah, no, that would actually make sense. I haven't actually thought about it too much. I mean, the Medical Mechanica obviously seems like big pharma.
Yeah.
If their workers are all outsourced, we'll stay with it.
Yeah. It gets a little crazy.
So episode 1 ends basically with Naota going home, and he realizes that Kanti, the robot, is like now his like also a maid there.
Yeah, like he's like he like works there now.
Yeah.
Which I there's so many funny scenes with him. He's a comedic relief too. Kanti's a comedic relief. And so we're getting it's funny, but it's getting deeper because the next episode is probably the darkest one. Yeah. It's pretty dark.
Yeah, the second episode's called Firestarter.
Oh, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it stems through like there's like a series of arsons that have been taking place.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of how like the theme of it all, that's happening. There's some arsons going on. But yeah, so this episode is just really about I don't even know how's it start?
It says Haruko is like talking about like she's gonna break into the Medical Mechanica plant, and then she like can't because there's no entrances or exits.
Again, which is odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, very odd. Yeah, so she's trying to get into this, and she does.
Yeah.
I think this is the episode she does get in there, right? Where she drives her Vespa through a window.
Maybe I can't remember.
And again, we get to introduce 2 new adults.
No, they're not here yet. This isn't.
Oh, that's not it.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
no.
I'm skipping.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a little bit. I promise, guys. Because there's a funny scene with that one too.
It was like mostly like kind of focused on Kanti or something. Like he's like doing just a bunch of like odd errands or something.
Yeah, he's like running chores for them, which is funny because Naoto's like, don't show your face. And like, and then he finds out he's been like wandering about. He's like, "What have you been doing?"
Yeah. Like you're not supposed to be out there.
Yeah, but
and like the main like thing that happens while he's like out running errands is that Mamimi sees him, right, and sees the robot. And the robot has like little black wings.
Yeah.
And so she takes it that he's a god from this like video game that she plays.
Yeah.
Right, and so that's where he gets his name, like Lord Kanti, the destructor of fire or something. I don't know what his exact title is.
It's funny. It's funny because like I feel like when you're at a very low place, you just look for something to believe in.
Yeah.
And I think that just like hit home with her. Like she wanted to believe in something, but also he's funny because like he's in disguise all the time. Yeah. So he's like wearing like a hat and like wearing like a Hawaiian shirt, and he's like reading Hustler, going shopping.
Yeah, because the grandfather wants it. So he's in there. Yeah.
He's up there reading that, and we get a funny scene because for some reason the grandfather doesn't like Mamimi.
Yeah.
So she's like she doesn't go in the house because of him. She says like, "Why don't you come inside?" And he's like, "Your grandfather doesn't like me," or something like that. Somebody says that, but we also find out that like Mamimi sent him out to the Kanti to get juice, and like she like this is terrible. Like they're just like using him to like run errands.
Yeah.
And it kind of it has a sad ending though, but it has a cool fight scene.
Yeah. So like it's like revealed that she's calling him Lord Kanti, and then she's playing this video game, where the objective is to like basically do arson. Like in the video game, she's lighting buildings on fire to please Lord Kanti, and then she's calling the robot Lord Kanti, and then all of a sudden there's a series of actual arsons, like buildings are burning down like around the area, and so then you realize it's Mamimi that's been doing this.
Yeah, well, is that's explained? That's them, right? Did you? So there's even a scene where she's like surrounded by like. So did you catch it? It's cigarettes.
Oh, is it?
It's not candles. Like she puts.
Oh, you're right. No, you're right.
Yeah, which she puts
where she's like praying or whatever.
Yeah, she puts cigarettes around her, which I thought I didn't catch that the first watch. I thought it was like candles. It's actual cigarettes. And apparently, when she was a kid, her school that she was in, there was a fire and the brother. Kansen?
No. Takun.
Yeah, saved her.
Yep.
And
it's actually her that starts the fire in the school.
Yeah.
And then
as a kid.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
She starts the fire. Yeah. And because it's very brief and hard to catch, but like she's getting bullied, so she decides to light the school on fire, and then she gets herself caught up in it, and it's Naoto's older brother Takun that saves her, and that's why I guess they fall in love. I guess
or that's why she falls in love. Yeah. Let's get into this fight scene, dude. This fight scene is awesome.
Yeah.
We get I don't know what triggered it this time though. What triggered it to come out? I mean, I know that she was like talking about Lord Conti and things like that.
She tries to kiss the robot.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, she tries to kiss him, and then Naoto's like freaking out, and then another robot comes out of his head.
Yeah,
and they start going after it. And this again, great fight scene. Duster comes on, and of course, it's kind of funny because like he eats.
Yeah, Conti eats Naoto.
And he turns into like a sniper rifle, like a giant rifle. But the cool thing, and I don't know if you caught this, his wings turn into brains.
No, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, they're actually like rectangular brains that look like it, which comes back later when they talk about the ending.
Yeah.
But it's an actual like and then like it forms like they're like pink brains, and then it closes in, and it looks like rectangular prisms that are red. And then he turns his body around and turns into a cannon, which is a direct reference to what?
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yep. A direct reference. Yeah. Actually, that might have been. Is that's an episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like a sniper and it's like yeah. Okay, that's the scene. There's another scene that we'll get into that ties into that same scene that I'm referring to from Neon Genesis. But yeah, we get that cool like shoot scene, of course, and then it shoots half of that robot, and then Haruko comes and finishes it.
Finishes it off.
And then they're all like watching the fire, and then Conti just like shits out Naoto, and he comes out of it.
And they're all like, you smell. He comes out like a turd, like
he just swirls up. Yeah. And I think that's really it for episode 2.
Yeah, he promises to like stick by Mimi's side. That's like essentially how it ends.
Yeah, well, so, but Mimi's like dealing with all these like medical, not this she's dealing with a lot of like psychosis. Yeah, she's dealing with like depression, like separation.
She has no one in her life except for maybe Naota. Yeah, it's like basically the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, but like she's also like dealing with like like real like physical things that are happening to like being poor and probably homeless, a runaway, no friends, being an outcast. She's like shunned by all the other kids. They never show her hanging out with anybody else. And so I think again I like my Mimi.
Yeah, I did too.
I enjoyed her. So it was good that she kind of got an episode right here because it comes back later. She has another episode, but this is kind of themed around her.
Yeah. This is her episode.
And then we get in episode 3.
Episode 3, this one's called Marquise de Carabas.
And I think I told you this when I watched this episode. I thought it was another anime.
Okay, you were telling me that.
Because the introduction is it's the introduction of Nina Mori.
Yeah.
Nina Mori. Yeah, Nina Mori, who is this? She's the mayor's daughter, and the scene is like she's in like a limo or like being drove or in a vehicle, and the secretary, I believe, is like talking to her.
Yeah. And
she's like, what do you have there? It's like, oh, I'm in a play. And then she's like, I think that you're smart to bring clothes. I saw you sneaking out of the house this morning.
Yeah.
So then it turns out there is a scandal. And you touched on this, like you were telling me about it. I didn't catch it the first time, but you were touching base on the dad.
Yeah. So essentially you don't really know what the scandal is. Yeah. But it's implied that the secretary, as they're driving in the car and they're mentioning clothes back and forth, it's implied that the secretary has been sleeping with the dad, because she also talks about, she points out Nina Mori's having a second pair of clothes, and then she's like, oh yeah, this is for a play, but I noticed you got a second pair of clothes because you stayed the night last night, and then she's like, oh, you're clever for your age or whatever, you're very mature.
Yeah. And it just so happens that Naoto By the way, that's the first like 5 minutes is them their
Yeah.
dialogue, which you don't even
Yeah, you've never even seen them before.
So I was like, it's a different ad. I had to check.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Naota has been casted in the play as not a lead but a side character to the main character,
Yeah.
which is Nina Marie.
Yeah, the play is actually called Puss in Boots.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's so funny. Which is funny because he has horns like a cat.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, whenever it's revealed, because every episode he has something growing out of his head, and this one it's some cat ears, and it happens that Hinamori is going to play the lead in this play, Puss in Boots, and he's got to play the cat.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and say it later comes out that she rigged it that way, right?
Yeah, she rigged the vote so that he got casted. Yeah. So like it kind of implies that she has like a little crush on him.
Yeah, I see. She goes on like this weird monologue about what the play really means, and it kind of went over my head. To be honest,
I think
about the symbolism of the cat, and I'd have to rewatch it.
Yeah, she got a little deep on that one. And during this is like whenever they're talking right outside because he's been skipping the play.
Yeah, he's skipping the play, and she's all pissed off.
He's skipping rehearsal, and of course Haruko comes and hits him with the Vespa again. And this is where we get another kiss.
Oh yeah. So they both skip, and it's actually she doesn't want to go home after the rehearsal, so she's just like wandering the streets. And Naota already skipped, and he sees her. Yeah. And so they're talking, and then so then here comes Haruko. It was actually a funny scene because she's like, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "Oh, I'm waiting for someone." Like, "Oh." There she is right now, and she like comes on the screen and causes like 3 different cars to wreck, like, and they're all like, "What?" And then she like wrecks her Vespa because like a cat comes out, and it hits Naoto, and then so then it sends him flying face first into Hinamori, and then he gets his third kiss, I think.
Second?
No, there's. I guess Mamimi hasn't happened.
No, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so there's a second. Okay.
Does that ever happen?
No, he tries.
Yeah, he tries. Yeah. So Nina Mori, they kiss, and then he's been like he's unconscious, and she's hurt too, I believe.
Yeah.
So they decide to go.
She comes back too, and that's how she figures out he's got the cat ears.
Yeah. Right. She knows that, and they wind back up at his place, and she's like eating ramen there.
Yeah, the reason why she comes back is because she touches the cat ears, and it like makes her sick. And that's whenever like I thought that was a funny scene too, because Haruko's like, "Don't touch," like she's got like a megaphone, like, "Don't touch the ears."
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And then she's like, "Is it really my fault? Like I told her not to touch it." Like she was kind of thinking about it. That was a funny scene.
So they go back to his place. They're eating ramen, and the ramen is like insanely spicy.
Yeah, but like Haruko's like making fun of Naoto because he's like, "No, I bought the Little Prince curry. Look, it says mild right here." And like everyone that's eating it is like dying.
The dad, Kamen, they're all dying, and she's eating it fine though.
Yeah, she's eating it fine. She's like, "You're just a little kid," but then like the grandfather like takes a single bite and it just like falls face first into the plate and is like gurgling.
The funny scene or weird scene, how you picture, is she decides to stay the night.
Yeah. Then after the end of the scene.
Yeah, like, and he's so before we get into this weird scene, you told me about this. I didn't realize that. So actually, let's get in the weird scene first, and then we'll talk about the scene that you referred to. He's the Cayman, the father is like, "You can stay the night. Do we need to call your parents?" Blah blah blah. And she ends up staying the night and taking a bath. Well, he's in the window. He's in the window, like talking to her, which is so funny. He's like, "Hey, use this to wash your back." How's everything going? Like, it's funny because it's funny dialogue, and she's so cool about it. But then he says, "You're very mature for your age," which is like really creepy.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny, but you told me this, and it went right over my head. Again, this is why the rewatchability is so high.
Yeah.
That he's the one that like exposed the scandal.
Yes, he's writing like basically those I don't know, those trashy magazines you see like off the side, like it'll be like Bigfoot and a UFO or whatever.
National Enquirer.
Yeah, there you go, National Enquirer. Anyways, he's doing this magazines, and he's actually wrote about the scandal between the mayor and his secretary or whatever. Exposing the scandal, which happens to be Hinamori's father. So he's the one directly responsible for it, and she knows it's him too, because she's like there's a scene where like they're sitting in class, and Naoto's friend like hands him like, "Hey, look at this. It's a crazy magazine." She's opening it. The teacher sees it, and she's like, "How dare you like read this kind of stuff? Like think about Hinamori's feelings."
Yeah.
Right. And so she goes to the store to check out what it is, and it's Naoto's father there. Hammond?
Cayman.
There you go. And he's there trying to like peddle his books. He's like, see, look, there's your customer right there, and he hands her it.
Oh, so she did read it. Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
so she's aware.
Yeah. Okay. And then I guess we can get this like last part where actually there's two big scenes coming right now. The scene where like she's staying the night and wearing his pajamas.
She's wearing his pajamas.
Yeah, she's wearing Naoto's pajamas, and she's also wearing glasses, which is not again. Why is that such a thing?
I don't know.
Like, why is wearing glasses like, oh, you wear glasses? Like, it's 2001. Get over yourself. Like, chill out.
Might as well call her Four Eyes. Or
yeah,
what?
like, it's literally, like, why does she care?
Yeah.
And they have a conversation with, and they have, like, a heart-to-heart.
Yeah.
And I think he's explaining to her, like, his brother a little bit, and I think she's explaining, like, what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So we have like that heart to heart, and it's really nice. Is this where she exposes that she's rigged the votes to him?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. She exposes that she rigged the votes.
So now they both know a secret about each other.
Yeah, and then we get into the last kind of big fight.
Yeah, the very finale. Like there's like during the play, they're Hinamori's trying to convince everyone to rehearse for the big play, and Naoto's like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And so, an argument ensues, and, Hinamori's like, oh, yeah, well, if you're not going to do that, like, how about this? And, like, rips off his hat to reveal his cat ears in front of everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And then Naoto's like, oh, yeah, well, at least I didn't, rig the votes of the entire, play and give myself the lead. And then everyone's, like, shocked. And then that's, like, the trigger to...
her.
Yeah.
She gets triggered.
Yeah, and because their heads hit during the Vespa thing, the robot comes out of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's it's a funny fight scene because Conti shows up and they're fighting. And this is you said something about being fan service.
Mm-hmm.
This was kind of fan service where she's like kicking because it's coming out of her head and like her legs are like the ones still moving.
Mm-hmm.
She's like kicking Conti and she ends up kicking him and like her panties like fall into his hands and she pulls back and Conti looks and does that expression like a robot and then she's like kicking again and he's all. And he puts them back on.
The panties back on.
Yeah, he puts them back on, which was really funny. This fight seems pretty hilarious. It's attacking and it's winning, but the funny part is how it loses.
Yeah.
So they're fighting.
It's basically beating everyone up.
Yeah.
Like Conti the robot, Haruko showing up, like trying to fight him or whatever, and it's kicking all their asses. But Naoto has the spicy curry lunch that Haruko packed him.
Yeah.
And I forget what happens. Like he like kicks him in the air, and like his backpack opens, and like the curry falls into its mouth.
Yeah, and then it goes off the side of the building to let go of some steam.
Yeah.
And while it's doing it, it just gets picked off.
Yeah. Then Conti goes and swallows Naoto, turns into the sniper rifle, and blows it up.
Yeah. So that was really, great scene. And then of course, it ends on this final scene where they're doing the play.
And it's revealed that the reason Hinamori cared so much about it is because both of her parents were going to be there to see it, the mom and the dad.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of like a common like, trope. It's like all like kind of like all sitcoms. But the last scene is like she's wearing glasses, and then she like zooms into her. She's all, oh, they're fake, and like she sticks. You told me, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
She sticks her finger through the lens, which that was really funny. All right, and that's episode 3. Episode 4.
Yeah, full swing. This one was one of the better ones, I think.
This is this would be like the climax of like this would be if this was 23 episodes, this would be the mid-season premiere.
Yeah.
Or mid-season finale, where it ends, and now we gotta wait 6 months for most anime, 5 years for Attack on Titan.
Oh, yeah.
So it starts full swing, and it's really about. It starts off with a baseball team.
Yeah.
Where they're playing baseball, and we know that Naoto's brother is like a baseball star from there, and Haruko is just a dynamo.
Yeah, I was actually confused because like the baseball team is like the grandpa's like the coach, and they got Naoto on there. And they're playing against whatever team they're playing, but Haruko's like the star player, like knocking home runs out, like pitching, like striking them out. Like I was like, what is going on right now?
What's the team lineup? Yeah. What business are these? Like they have children and they're like adult leagues, but they're all strangers. Like who would pick this team? It's a weird lineup, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But the score's like 44-0.
Yeah, Haruko's like murdering them. Naoto's also like I said, he comes up to bat. And he never swings. He just lets Haruko strike him out. And then she like beams him one time, but he never swings the bat.
Well, yeah, so there's that, but I think, and I might be stretching, This is a direct reference to the Bugs Bunny baseball episode where he's like he's basically like he's the batter, the catcher, the pitcher, and he's like striking people out. And there's like a scene where like before he gets in the game, they're like the team they're playing is they're like giant, like huge guys, and they're just like hitting home runs before Bugs gets in, and they're like doing the conga line down the home bases. But anyways, the scene that is like where he's like striking him out. Bugs throws like 3 pitches back to back to back, and they all strike him out. They're like, strike 1, 2, 3, you're out. And that's what it was like. I think it was homage to that.
That might be a bit of a stretch, but
I'll show you that episode. I'm telling you,
no,
it's there, but maybe it is a stretch. But there's a lot of references going on, and Bugs Bunny was way before this episode. So
a Bugs Bunny reference. I did not think I'd be hearing that one.
Yeah, we don't know, but I'll show you the episode and we can compare later. I'll make a clip of it so everyone can see what I'm talking about. All right, so and it just turns out that he's not a good baseball player. And I think even Mamimi is like, I'll show you how to bat. I'll show you how to play baseball.
No, it's Haruko telling him.
I could have sworn they both kind of implied it.
Well, yeah. It's so to me the implication of him not wanting to swing his bat is because his older brother is the star baseball player.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to be compared to his older brother. So he refuses to even participate. Even though even the team's like, I wish we had a star like Haruko on our team, if only we had Takun, if only he was here, we'd have nobody. And then they actually recruit Conti onto their team because he's like flying around catching balls.
Yeah, and it's kind of like your brother. You always live in your like older brother's shadow.
Yeah,
and he's trying to break that, like swing, and Full Swing. Great name for this episode because really it's all about that. All right, so and you told me this. Actually, let's keep going. I'm getting ahead of myself.
All right.
But yeah, what else happens in this episode?
Basically, after all this baseball stuff happens, like Naoto goes home, and then Kamen and Haruko are just acting like super weird, like enraging Naoto.
Oh,
like he gets home and like his dad is giving like Haruko like a massage with his chin, and she's just like sitting there moaning, going like, "Oh yeah, that's the spot." And he like walks in and sees him, and he's like massaging like her thigh, and like it's going on. And he's just like, "What are you doing?"
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So there's a super inappropriate relationship going on with his father and Haruko. And I think you said this is that she was doing this strategically to like have him like come out of his shell and actually do the full swing part.
That's what I think. So yeah. She's doing this to antagonize him, and it, you can tell it's working. Yeah. There's even a scene where like he's like goes to sleep at night and then wakes up and he's like, where's Haruko at? And like opens the door and like walks out of the living room, and there's like a crack in the door open with a light, and you can hear like Haruko and Kamen talking, and she's all like, the dialogue's all like, oh, put it in. Oh, it's not fitting. Oh, try now, like this and that. And he like goes and peeks into the door, and it doesn't show what he sees, but he's like freaked out.
Yeah, this episode goes a lot of ways because it could also be considered a horror. There's a section in here, so while this is all happening, we get introduced to Eyebrow Guy. He comes in this episode.
Yes, this is where Eyebrow Guy comes in.
And there's like an I know I might be skipping, but I know it's somewhere in the middle here where he comes home and his dad is laying unconscious on the ground.
Yes, this is towards the end of the episode, but yes.
Well, the end of the episode is the batting part, which that's like a whole scene.
I said towards, but yeah.
It's midway through. It's only 20 minutes now. So he's like on the ground, like bleeding out.
he's like looks like a shriveled husk. Like he's got like roaches crawling over him.
Well, I'm talking about the body that's laying down. The Eyebrow Guy is interrogating him. Yeah. He's like, you hit him? He's like, no, I did. And he's like, I think the episode actually is him telling the interrogation, telling the story of what's going on. He was like, no, and he's like, oh, they were being weird. He's all, that must have made you jealous, right?
Yeah.
Haruko made you jealous.
Yeah, make you want to hurt something, right?
Yeah, and it turns out like that wasn't his father at all.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was like some weird like robot thing.
It was like a cyborg type. Like it was like a replica of the father, and then there's like a scene where he like walks in there and there's like a creature like stumped over. Looks like what's Golem?
Golem.
Yeah, it goes like Golem in the corner, and he's like, what's that? And it's his dad. He hasn't eaten in days.
Yeah.
he's shriveled up. He's like all wrinkly, and he like runs and he starts pouring water on him.
Yeah.
And it turns out that he was like we don't even know how long he's been.
Yeah,
there.
I remember asking you this. I was like, did that happen since the beginning?
Yeah.
Or was that like, yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, I would say it would. I honestly, this might be conspiracy theory on Fooly Cooly, but I think it happened the very beginning.
I would say so too.
Because why would a random dad just let people stay? But he also says like, oh, Haruko asked if she can use my body, and I said yes because whatever.
I was thinking about that too. Yeah.
So I mean, maybe we really don't know what the time frame.
If it happened that episode, it was probably the same scene that I was talking about earlier, where he walks in them at night, where they're talking about that weird stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it could happen then.
Okay, yeah. So he gets them, and then you mentioned this to me. I did not notice this. You said that she hit a baseball.
Yes.
And it hit the satellite.
The baseball hits the satellite. Yeah. Because it kind of references it too. He's like, remember, you should like swing for outer space. Like that looks like a good spot. Remember, and it's like a bright shining light.
Yeah.
It's the satellite falling to Earth, but she hits it whenever she's hitting those home runs. And even the baseball player's like, man, I bet you that went in outer space. Yeah.
So she caused that satellite.
She causes the satellite to fall.
Which again, I think she's still trying to like unlock, the Naoto's like true potential.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, satellite's coming down. The only person that can actually hit it is Haruko.
Yeah, and in the entire episode, she's like telling Naoto like, just swing. I could show you how to do it. And there's like even a weird like sexual tension scene, right, where they're like laying on the bunk bed, and this is when the satellite's falling that like kind of starts it, right?
Yeah,
because she's like in pajamas, like no pants on, like laying on top of him, and they're talking about it.
I think you're skipping.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's episode 5.
Yeah, it is definitely episode 5 because the BB war happens like that. But there is a scene though where because I think this is also the scene where he says something smooth, and all the people that are watching Eyebrow Guy and all this like staff members start bleeding from their nose.
Oh,
I don't know what he says, but I know he says something, and he's like, such a gentleman, and they're like, she's bleeding, and then
see, I can't remember what episode that was,
but you know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah.
But the scene spans to, like people on the computer, and they're just red right here.
Yeah,
but it goes into a really good scene where she takes him to like a top of like the highest point to like the best spot to hit the satellite.
It's top of the Medical Mechanica plant.
There we go.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of revealed that the bomb's going right at Naoto. Yeah. Right. They even
he's like a beacon.
Yeah, he's the beacon. They even say that everyone in the town's gonna die. Like the eyebrows guy is like, yeah, we ordered a full evacuation, but it's too late. Everyone here's dead. Like there's no hope, and they're just kind of like on standby watching.
This is a direct reference to Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Another one.
Yeah, this is the
sniper. For sure.
So because just shoot Shinji, like just shoot, like it's all dependent on Shinji making this shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually in the Neon Genesis Evangelion, if you haven't watched it, they want Rei to take the shot, but she can't. Shinji ends up taking a shot, just like they want Haruko to take to swing.
The eyebrows guy's telling only you can do this, Haruko. Like the kid can't.
Yeah, and so the scene that really brings it all together, the reference is that she's telling him just swing, and he's like, I can't do it, I need you, and then she's like gone.
Yeah.
And he realizes this is it. I have to hit swing. I have to hit this. And of course he hits it.
Honestly, okay, so this was like so badass. Like the animation was so insane to me. So the satellite's like coming down and breaking apart, right? And it turns into a baseball glove. And the baseball glove like starts spinning and throws the bomb like a baseball at him. So like, I don't know. It was just so sick.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like he's sitting there like, freaking out, wondering where Haruko is. And like you said, he has to swing and he does it. And he hits the ball, but all he does is like stop it. Like it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, like it's still in place.
Yeah,
and I think she comes and hit and finishes.
Haruko comes back and basically saves him. Haruko comes back and hits it. It's also kind of funny because he pulls out like a Gibson 5, or it's like a badass guitar, like to hit the ball.
Oh yeah. So great scene. All right, and then we get that kind of cool scene, and that's basically how it ends. I mean, there is no, that's really how it ends. Yeah. I try to think. There's something with Kanti that happens, right?
Kanti is with Mamimi and they're watching.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and Mamimi.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Mamimi might see.
Actually, this is episode 4, right?
Yeah.
So Mamimi sees this happening. She witnesses it, which is brought back later in episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
So the start of episode 5 is the one you were referring to, the kiss.
Okay.
Yeah. So
with Mamimi.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. With with Haruka, where he has like a horn and it lifts him up to kiss him. This is where it starts because
honestly, I think episode 5 was probably my favorite of the series.
I did not like episode 5.
You didn't like episode 5?
This is to me a weird episode for Naoto. His character development kind of gets a strain.
Okay, I could see that. I was thinking it more from the fight perspective. I guess I should say this is my favorite fight of the entire anime.
Okay,
yeah.
This is a good fight. Yeah. So episode 5 is like a really good like pinnacle fight at the end, and dude, there's so much like condensed in 20 minutes. It's crazy, dude. So it starts off with a kiss, and then came in. Naoto's dad
sees it. Yeah.
He walks in, but the funny is the kiss is happening, and it's like he gets hard and leans into the kiss.
Yeah.
And if you look at the back, he's like peeking the whole time.
Yeah.
And then he's all, "What are you doing? Yeah, you're over here doing nasty pervert things."
Yeah, the Fulukui.
But the way he says it, he goes, "You're over here doing nasty pervert things without me." And yeah, how could you do this? I'm the one. You should never do this without me. I challenge you to a duel, and he shoots him.
Yeah.
With what did you call it? It's like
airsoft essentially.
But it's like a German pistol.
Oh, so here these are a bunch of different references we're forgetting.
We just started the
episode. No, it's like, so the plot's progressing, like he sees him and then like he's like, we should duel for her honor, and then Haruko's like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
I agree. I
down.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it starts off like this weird like airsoft war, but he shoots him with like a 9mm Luger, like, which is like a direct reference to Lupin the Third. Because even I don't know if you even caught it. Even as they're talking about it, he's like, why are you wearing the green jacket? Because it's supposed to be red. Like Lupin the Third wears the red jacket. He's like, oh, what, you don't like green? And they start going into this obscure reference, and they're talking about one of the seasons where Lupin is actually wearing a green jacket, and instead of his like iconic red one. It is kind of obscure, but it's definitely there. It's a Lupin the Third reference.
Yeah, and this is where I didn't hate. I thought it was funny. Yeah. Just different character development with Naoto. So they're doing their like BB war, and it just so happens that Haruko and Naoto are on the same team.
Yeah.
But there's like a scene where like she's like hugging up, fighting for my honor, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like freaking out on her, like Charlie, what's it, Charlie Marshall style? What's Charlie Brown style?
Charlie Brown. Okay.
He's like Charlie Brown style on him, like, "What are you doing? We're in a war. You got to do it." He's like yelling at her.
Yeah.
And they go back and forth. And did you see what the dad's wearing?
Now he's switched uniforms. He's in like a Gestapo SS uniform. Like I don't know how they got away with that. They wouldn't do that nowadays.
It's like a Third Reich. He has a swastika on his arm.
It's not the swastika, but it's it might as well be.
Yeah, it's like a German reference.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, there's no mistaking. It's a Nazi
reference. Fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
They're going back and forth, shooting each other. And again, it's funny because there's even a scene where like he sees his dad, he sneaks up on him. He's like, "Got you!" And he's like swinging at him, and it's the fucking pumpkin.
Yeah.
It's a scarecrow. Yeah. And he's like, "I got you, Naoto." So it's a funny scene.
Yeah, it's a funny scene, and basically this whole time Mamimi's watching, and she's getting, I don't know if jealous is the word, maybe upset that basically Naoto's giving all his attention to Haruko.
Yeah, and basically, I mean, from everyone's perspective, is that he's fighting for Haruko.
Yes.
So that's also part
he's fighting his dad for Haruko's honor, etc. And like the horn in his episode is like a revolver, the symbolism. So like it's like slowly cocking back the entire time.
Yeah.
And so every single time he's getting like more ballsy with himself. The thing cocks back in his head.
Yeah.
And so it's like making him like act more flirty with Haruko, and then like it like spills over into like Mamimi noticing, and he's like, I think this is the character development you're saying why you didn't like it, because this is where he's like telling Mamimi like he only cares about her, right?
Well, no, it's just really the comedic element. I don't like him as a comedic element because he hasn't been it yet.
Yeah.
So he's like lashing out as his dad and things like that.
Yeah.
And the whole BB War to me was like, it was funny. I liked it, but it wasn't, in my opinion, his character development.
Yeah.
Which is only
it was just a weird stylistic choice of the episode, because everyone had guns. The entire episode is just everyone has guns. They're using guns.
Even like the assistant to Eyebrow guy.
Yeah, and so like as they're having this little BB war, she like sends an assassination hit. Eyebrows guy sends his subordinate. Kasurugi?
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Yeah, I think it is. It's a long name.
Kitsurubami.
Yeah.
Anyways, he sends his lackey to like assassinate Conti, and he's got like a sniper rifle. It's actually kind of funny because Mamimi's like sitting there watching him, and like a car pulls up, and then, like in the back, you know, she's like talking, like observing, and then like a huge sniper rifle slowly comes out the back, and it's just like her setting up, getting it back, and it's just like playing it off. And then, you know, she starts sniping at Conti.
Yeah, she ends up getting beat, and then like Conti like helps her get up, which is like, you know, again, Conti just being
Conti's not evil.
Yeah, at all. And we get to see like Naoto's like friends. And this is kind of where this is an important thing because it's like the two knucklehead friends, and I don't know, is that Nina Marie?
It is. Hinamori's with them, which I didn't really understand why she's just part of the group now, but
yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter to me, like, because it's such a small scene. Yeah. But the main part of what they saying is like, we heard you save the whole town, we heard you control that robot. Yeah,
and this is feeding into his ego, and it triggers this little thing to cut back a little more.
This is why we're good friends, because you're exactly right. His ego starts to fulfill. Yeah. So much that he thinks it's the time to like make the moves on Mamimi.
Yeah, Mamimi.
Yeah. And Mamimi, yeah. So they're having a very like one-on-one conversation, going back and forth. And there's actually a funny scene. It's so this might be controversial. I'm sure you saw it, where they're talking right after the BB war, and she's pointing the gun at her face.
Yeah.
Like right at her face. Like it looks like she's trying to delete herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, dipping into those scenes, I won't say it, but we get that, and then he's basically like bragging to her, like, "Oh, I saved this place. You saw all of it, yeah." Like just like being braggadocious, and then she ends up pointing the gun at him and shooting him, which is kind of funny. And we get this scene where it's like, "You got to come with me over here," and he's
like dragging her, and she doesn't want to come.
Yeah, she's like being very like standoffish.
Yeah.
And he takes her to Cafe Blue.
Yeah, and she's like, why are you doing this?
Like you can't do this. You can't do this. You're not supposed to do this.
Yeah, because it is out of character for Naoto, because before it was the reverse way. Like, you know, Mamimi forcing affection on Naoto, and now it's the other way. Like, oh, here, let's go on a date. We're here. And she's kind of like rejecting him.
Which I like. I wasn't so mad about this part because he is being hormonal about it. His hormones, his ego. He thinks he finally has...
He's on top of the world, thinks he can get away with whatever.
Yeah, he thinks that this is like, you know, this is the time to make the moves, and which is fine. I mean, he's full of himself, and I think he knows that Haruko is not the one, but Mamimi maybe, and he is like, why do you like him? Why don't you like me? You should like me, and he tries to kiss her.
Yeah,
and of course
she refuses. Yeah,
she rejects him, and that was that scene, and then
I almost feel in that scene, I think he really does like Haruko more, but it's more like one of those things where like he's trying to prove himself. So he's going out of his way to prove like, no, Haruko, I don't like her. It's you. It's always been me and you. Yeah, and now let me drag you on this date. We're here. Let me try, you know. Yeah, overcompensating gets fully rejected.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm not gonna say no because we don't know, but I will say that I think it's really just him actually liking her and finally having like the courage to like actually like tell her feeling. He does embrace how he feels about her.
Yeah,
we get it. This is kind of a sad scene to me, but I'll talk about this. Can we get in the fight?
Yeah, let's go in the fight.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how does it trigger? There's always something that triggers the fight.
This one's different because while this is all happening, this is episode 5, right?
Yes.
Well, this is happening. Haruko is actually like at the barbershop with.
I was gonna say this was like. Two of my favorite fights all happened in the same episode.
Yeah,
this barber scene fight is fucking epic with Haruko. Like
because they're both aware of each other.
Yeah.
So like while she's like, how about a little bit off the top, and she has like a knife to his neck, and he has a gun to her head.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah. No, that scene was really really cool. Yeah, she's like cutting his hair, and then like she's like, oh, you want a little off the top? Like, how about a little bit of furikuri? And then that's when they realize. And then ensues this like massive gun battle. And like Haruko has like it's like a shotgun guitar. Like she's using her guitar as a shotgun, keeping in theme with like shooting bullets. And he's got like a whole army with him.
This is this is a part you might have missed this.
Okay.
Which you're pretty good. You're pretty good at not missing this. This is how I know they have a relationship before they ever came.
Oh,
he says, I'm no longer a kid.
Yes.
I have insurance now.
Yes.
And he brings in that army of people. He says, I'm no longer a kid. So I think, and this is my opinion, and I've never watched any other anime, so sorry.
Yeah.
That what she's doing with Naota
is she did it. No, I agree, 100%.
She did it with him,
100%.
Eyebrows guy.
Used him,
yeah, as the same way, and it just didn't pan out because he wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
He didn't have the stuff that Naota does.
Yeah.
And they try to make it work with him. So, which we'll talk about that in like a bit because they're about to get into that. So they do get this epic fight scene with a shotgun.
Yeah.
She's cleaning house.
Classic. I'm sure you've probably like watch it on YouTube. If you're never gonna watch this anime, watch this short 4-minute action scene. It is top notch.
Yeah, the last 5 minutes of this episode were awesome.
Yeah.
So they get into this battle, and it's really like, she's knocking out all the guys.
She like beats them all, and then she finally beats
Well, yeah, they're going back and forth. She knocks off his eyebrows.
Yeah.
I remember that because he's freaking about his eyebrows.
Yeah.
But she says this line. She says, that's not as big as Naoto's.
Yeah. It's because, so the eyebrows, in my theory, are preventing her from like using his head to like summon a little thing out. And she I don't know what she does. She just starts going, furikuri, furikuri. And he's like, no, you can't do that now. No. And I don't know. He gets like a weird look on his face with like hard eyes. And then like this tiniest little thing comes out of his head.
Yeah.
And it's like a slingshot. That's what she gets, a slingshot from.
Oh, yeah. This isn't the episode with Mamimi, right? Getting the pet?
No, that's the last episode.
Okay.
Mimi does not have a pet yet.
Yeah. All right. So we get in this, and then we get the coolest angel, kind of.
Yeah, the coolest angel. No, this is my favorite fight. This one was very fucking cool.
Well, where does it come out of? It comes out of the ground?
See, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I want to say it does because it's like kind of there.
Yeah. Like really, but again, this is where I noticed the hands.
Yes.
Yeah. This is where I started noticing that.
Only at the end of the fight, because it was kind of like
it's like a western.
Yeah.
It's like a cowboy.
Yeah, it's like quick drawn.
Yeah, which a great scene. So they're going back and forth. Oh, dude, what did you think about Mamimi? Oh no, Haruko as a cat, as a bunny. Sorry.
Oh yeah. No, I like that.
She switches her outfit and she's like surfing and she's wearing like a bunny costume, which is a reference to Playboy. Yeah, because even the eyebrow guy's, I can't see this, and she's cruising and she's blasting this giant creature, which is wearing like a trench coat, and he's just like quick drawn,
Yeah. Yeah. So apparently it just comes out of Naoto, like right at the climax of the battle in the barbershop with Eyebrows guy and Haruko. Then it triggers that thing. So it comes out of Naoto, and that's when Haruko's like, all right, like, and then forces him to give her the slingshot, and then it goes into the final battle.
Yeah. And this scene is sad to me right here. Is like, while this is happening,
oh yeah, this one was a sad scene.
Like, Mamimi is like crying for help.
Yeah, she's like, please, like, let me go home. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, save me.
Save me, Taken.
Yeah.
His name is Taken?
Takun,
save me, Taken. And that's whenever it really upsets Naoto, because he's like, stop calling me that. He's not here.
Yeah.
He's not here. I'm here. I'm here to save you.
Yeah.
He gets really, really adamant about like, I'm here. Like, I'm the one saving you.
Mm-hmm.
Which it really shows like she's not over the brother.
Yeah.
No matter what, she's not over the brother. She's not over him, and she's never gonna not be over the brother.
Yeah. And she's always overlaying the brother onto Naoto. Like, it's clear now.
It's obvious that she's gonna be always, no matter, she'll never get over him, even though Naoto is saving her right now. And I think this is kind of the scene where they go back and forth in this fight, and I'm trying to remember how it ends. I think it ends with Naoto pulling out a guitar. Yeah,
this one's like I have it right here.
What is it?
It's a EB0 1961 Gibson bass guitar.
Because I remember they both say it.
Yeah.
Mushroom Eyebrow guys and Haruko both say it at the same time. Like, it's a badass guitar, and he goes ahead and knocks it down.
Yeah, and it's actually Adam's guitar that he pulls out.
It's can you spell that for everyone?
Right here it says ATOMSK.
Yeah, Adams.
Yeah,
Adams. Yeah, okay, Adams.
I always thought they were just saying Adams.
Yeah, I mean Adams. Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure they know the spelling of it, because it's a weird name.
Yeah. But honestly, this fight was just so cool. Like it's like it's a hand and like a coat, and it's like just keeps pulling out different guns, and then it like finally finishes off Haruko by like flipping upside down, and that's when you see it's actually the hand, and it like curls up around her, and every single finger has a gun on her.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was epic.
You're right, dude. That was such a good scene, man. That was such a good scene. You're absolutely right. That's awesome. Like, it curls up, and it's all 5 guns pointing at her.
Yeah.
which is shows so much of a badass she is.
Yeah.
And then of course they win, and it turns into the statue.
Yeah.
Where it's now right over the iron, where
Yeah.
it can like grab it.
It's like about to do it, and that's giving allusion to why everything's a hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what else to say on this episode. I think you got anything else on it?
No, that's literally it.
Yeah, that's the end of the episode. So we get a lot. This next episode it's called FL's Climax.
Fully FLCL climax. Yeah,
It's
like
FL Climax.
Yeah,
right?
FL climax.
Yeah, FL Climax. Yeah. And I do think this is a good episode, but it's so much. I feel like this should be an hour long.
It needed to be an hour long.
It needed to be an hour long. So right now we know that Conti and Haruko are on the run.
They're gone. It's been like weeks or months. You don't even know how long. And like,
are they wanted?
I want to say they're wanted.
It's probably they're wanted.
Yeah.
And they're just like on the lam, running from the law. And also Mamimi and Naruto are not. Naruto are not talking.
Yeah, no, they've stopped talking. They ignore each other. Yeah,
they're not like the same. Like they're not in the same place they were.
The shit that happened in the last episode,
which
ruined,
makes sense.
Yeah, ruined their relationship.
Sense, yeah. And we get, dude. There's so much in this episode.
There's also like the unique thing about it is now it's like constantly there's like smoke surrounding the city, so you can't see outside of it.
Yeah.
So it creates like that weird atmosphere.
Yeah. And we get a scene where he's like pushing his bike or walking, and there is a that eyebrow guy is there, and he's like, she's not coming back.
Yeah.
And he says like her name's not Haruko, it's like Rin
Radu Haruko or something. Yeah.
And he's like, she's not coming back. Put these eyebrows on. And he like gives him like his own eyebrows, which I didn't even notice. You said that you think it's to stop him.
Stop them from pulling the thing out of the head.
Oh, okay. I didn't even catch
cancellation. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think that might be accurate. That's because that's what it seems like a reason. Weird for him to just give him random eyebrows. So we get that scene, and he walks home, and again, who does he see?
Of course.
Look at Haruko eating ramen, and they do it manga style again.
Yeah, the manga style, and this is when they're like, wow, they told us not to do this again, but we did it anyways.
Yeah, we did this on episode 1, and then he's all right, guys, let's cut it. And like they're like people in the back carrying the manga pictures out, which is so fucking funny, dude. Yeah. Breaking the fourth wall again. And then they do the whole Fulikuli. Do you know what Fulikuli is?
Yeah.
You know what Fulikuli is now. What is Fulikuli?
Yeah, and no one can explain it. He's like, you even say like, you're the main character. You should know.
You should know what Fulikuli is. So it's so funny. But she's there, and then I think she reveals some story on it. Actually, it's revealed that her mortal enemy is Adam's.
It's either the mortal enemy or her like lover. I can't tell.
Yeah. Well, I think that. So I mean, I won't give the conspiracy part of it, but way the guy is explaining it to Naoto is that like it's the mortal enemies, but she fell in love.
Okay.
And like he's trapped in Medical Mechanica.
Okay, and she's there to free him. I understood that, but I don't understand to what end. Like they make it seem towards the end of the episode that she's trying to steal one of his powers. Yeah. But like it's kind of ambiguous.
Yeah. Let's get into that as like later on.
Later on. Yeah. So Naoto comes home and sees Haruko there, and like he basically like, just like breaks down. Why did you leave me? Like you left me here all alone. Like he's literally crying tears into her face, and like it makes Haruko seem like not like a bad person, because she's like comforting him, but it's not. To me, it wasn't like full fledged. Like I don't really think she cares about Naoto.
I get the opposite effect, man.
You get the opposite effect.
I think she is now. So for the longest, he's like we don't know how long he lost his brother to like leaving him. Mm-hmm. But I know that for a fact that like this is why I don't think the relationship would like work. Like I don't think that I'm not for the Naota and Haruko. Yeah, Haruko like love story, because to me it's like she's filling the role of the older brother as an older sister. And I get sister vibes from her. Not even stepsister vibes.
Not stepsister.
Not stepsister. Okay. Just actual sister vibes. Like she's like comforting. Like he's still a kid, dude. He's going through all these emotions and he can't cope. And how does he do it? Like you left me. Like it's like you're imagining you as a kid and like someone that's been in your life, even though they were annoying and like, but you cared for them and they left you. It's like as a kid, it doesn't make sense. Now as an adult, we we haven't seen you in like 5 years, 10 years, whatever.
I gotta do shit. Yeah.
But like in there, he's like he sees her every day. She lives with them.
Yeah.
And now he's really broken up about it.
Okay. Yeah. No, actually, that's actually a good point. I hadn't thought of that. My kind of line of thinking was just that she's, Haruko's been using Naoto. Yeah. And maybe now she feels a little bit bad about it.
Yeah. And I really do like that she says, I'm leaving. You want to come?
Yeah.
And he's like, he goes. And like the dad's like, all right, well, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'll get in this part in a little bit. But actually, let's get this now. The funny scene that Naoto is left with Haruka, and he's been out of school for a while. And the teacher, to me, the two most outlandish characters in this anime are the teacher and the dad. And they're in the same room now.
Oh yeah, that was a funny ass.
There's like a weird conversation.
I forgot about that one.
Your son is gone. He's all, I know. Like, you allow this? Yes. Yeah.
And then he starts telling a story about like how he killed a hamster.
Oh my god, dude! So she's like asked him like, you've been out of school for so long, and he goes, he's all, when I was a kid, I had a hamster. I took it home and I killed it by accident, so I didn't go to school for a while. She's all, this isn't about you. It's about your son.
Yeah, it is so funny.
Gives the story of himself.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was so funny.
That
dude.
was a good ass scene.
So, and they're going on an adventure. They're like living on the land, like living on the streets.
Yeah, like sleeping like homeless people in a sleeping bag.
Yeah, and it's funny because Nina Marie sees them.
Yeah,
like sleeping on like a bench.
Yeah,
and so they're running, and this is where I think it gets a little more interesting.
I didn't know whether I like this or not. So like, where did the dog thing come from? So we're getting into the part where Mamimi is like walking alongside the shore or whatever and sees like it's like a little dog thing.
Yeah, it's like a hand type thing.
It's a mechanical,
Yeah, it's like walking on all four. Right. And so, it's the central core.
It's the central core, which is the hole in the hand. Yes. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the central core in the hand, and she like comes across it and like decides to like feed it. But the beginning scene is probably the most important because she's got her cell phone open and it has her Takun's number on it, right? And that's their only way to contact him. Yeah. And the core knocks out of her hand, is going to eat it. She's like, wait, no. And she's thinking about it. She's like, okay, you can eat it. And to me, that's like the transformation of like her, like where she's like, I'm going to forget about Takun now.
Yeah. And I didn't even catch that. I actually was thinking more like she's like, you can have it. Like no one calls me anyways. But I think your interpretation is a little that's more appropriate. But what I like in the reference that I got, this is a direct reference. It's to My Little Shop of Horror, an old classic, I think 1960s film with Rick Moranis, maybe 1970s, where he feeds a plant his own blood, and then it starts eating people. And it grows and grows and grows till it's like unstoppable, and that's kind of that's the trope that started. Yeah. So I think they build off of that.
Okay,
trope.
That makes sense. Yeah,
because she keeps feeding it like electronics.
She actually goes on like a revenge mission of like everyone that bullied her and harmed her. She's like got like a list, and she's like feeding them like their cars and their motorcycles and stuff.
I honestly think she's looking for Vespas.
I think that's what she was doing too. Yeah,
she's looking for Vespas.
She's looking for Haruko's.
Yeah, Haruko's Vespa to eat, and like he's just eating all of that. And of course, it gets out crazy. It gets really big.
Every single thing he eats, he grows a little bit. So he goes from like a little like Chihuahua looking thing to like I don't know,
a moose.
A moose.
Moose is a big animal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it keeps growing and growing, of course, and it starts being like they can't control it no more.
Yeah, she can't control it.
So she gets she gets uncontrol of it. It starts attacking some other students, eating vans. So that's what's happening with Mamima.
Mm-hmm.
And well, of course, eyebrow guy, he's still in the picture too.
Yeah, he is.
I'm trying to think what he's doing though.
He's trying. His whole thing in this episode was just trying to convince Naoto that Haruko's just using him.
Yeah.
That whatever she says, don't believe him. And every action that Naoto's doing is just rejecting it. I'm gonna go spend time with Haruko. You want to run away with me? Yes, I'm going there.
Yeah. There's even a funny scene where like the hand does start to move, and Haruko and Naota are like on their Vespa, and Eyebrows dude sees them. He's like, "Oh, there they are!" And he just pops them out of the sky.
Oh
He
yeah.
just shoots
Oh,
a
yeah,
kid,
yeah.
and then that's when he tells him like, "She's using you. Don't fall for it.
Yeah.
Don't come with me." And like he runs back to Haruko and gives her like an embrace.
This is like right as the so like there's three things that they need to reactivate the hand, right? So like the machine is going crazy. The dog machine Mamima is going crazy, and he's like going crazy. And who does he come across as like a crossing guard, like walking across little kids?
Yeah, Conti is like a crossing guard.
Yeah.
He's been gone this whole time.
Yeah,
He's like, yeah, it's so funny.
And he like turns around and like the dog machine core like absorbs him, right?
Yeah.
And then becomes two parts. And so then after that, they run to the top of the hand, right? And the Eyebrows guy is like watching it the whole time. He's like, it doesn't have the third part. Like, what does it need? And then who's there is Haruko and Naoto. And then this is when he's going into, she's just using you. Like, don't believe her, et cetera, et cetera. And he turns back and walks and hugs Haruko.
Yeah. And they actually, they do embrace, and then there's like a little like scrap with him too, where she hits him into the mouth.
She feeds him too. Yeah.
The creature, the central component that dives deep into the hand, and then it activates again to where it now grabs the iron.
No, it grabs the iron.
Actually, Conti actually gets out of that because he actually it's going to grab the iron, and Conti like holds it back up.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So he does get out of that. I don't know how, but and then I don't know when he comes out, but we now get kind of that Naota has Adam's power.
What happens? How they
Good.
split? You're saying you don't know how Conti split. It's that Naoto and Conti split, and Naoto has I guess Adam's power.
Yeah.
And Haruko is pissed off.
Oh,
Like,
dude, she's
not like.
this is where I did not like her.
You know, this is the point where I didn't like her. Before I was like empathetic with her, like I could see her going, and then after this, I was just like, you know, she never really cared about Naoto. That's how I feel. She didn't care about Naoto. Like, yeah, she said she was gonna kill everyone on Earth already, as if that wasn't bad enough. Like, I don't care. But like, it turns true now that the one character close to Haruko is, I don't know, betrays the right word.
I don't think that's true, dude. I think she did care about him. I think though she cared about the power more. And like he had it, she wanted it, and they go after it, and like they go back and they're fighting. He pulls out he has a guitar that's like a double guitar.
Yeah, I have it written down right here.
What's it called?
That's the Gibson Flying VEB 1961 Gibson bass.
Dope. I bet you there's some like metalheads like, oh, that's a badass guitar.
Yeah,
that's awesome, dude.
So now like Naoto and Haruko have like a final battle. They're fighting each other.
It was inevitable. They needed to fight at the end.
And you know, Naoto overpowers her.
Yep.
And this is where I was confused. Does he just give up the power? He sends it off? Like Adams escapes, like he doesn't use it for himself?
Yeah, he like leaves like the planet, and we get a cool scene where like Haruko like is on the Vespa and is like, "Do you want to come?" Nah, you're a kid, and just flies off.
You're too young.
Yeah, and to me, I was like, she was probably considering it.
Yeah.
She probably was actually gonna take him if he was maybe a little older. And
she says like next time.
Yeah. So, which I'm sure maybe later seasons.
In these other seasons,
but yeah, she dips off, and then we get a fucking awesome pick.
Yeah.
He's standing there, right, with the guitar.
So do you know whose guitar that is?
That's who's it?
It's Haruko's. Haruko, like she loses the battle, and he picks that one up. Yeah.
And he's like standing in like rubble on top of it, and that's when we get a picture from
Mamimi takes the picture.
And it like ends up on a magazine because we don't see the picture.
Yeah,
that would be a sick ass shirt. Yeah. No, TM. That would be a sick ass shirt. So like he takes this picture of him on the top, and then everything goes back to normal except now they're in a different school, and they
got new uniforms, right? So it's they're basically in the next grade.
Yeah. And I do think that he's now hanging out with that friend group, and then. Nina Mori has now taken like the role of what Mamimi was.
Could be
because they have one scene where like he gets a drink and it's like
he's
like, I don't like sour.
Yeah, I think it's like pulp or I forget. What
he likes pulp apparently or something bitter.
Yeah,
like this. He
keeps changing.
Yeah, like this Lone Pint Brewery Yellow Rose Smash IPA for all your Smash needs. Please sponsor us. But we get, and it ends on that scene, and he's like, I don't like sour.
Yeah. So this is pretty much the end of the anime, right?
Yeah,
there's nothing else to talk about.
Well, the outro.
We haven't talked about that. We'll get to that. Honestly, I thought the ending was sad. I was sad at the ending. I was sad at the way it ended between Haruko and Naoto. I was sad at the way Mamimi ends, because she's like, I'm going to become a pro photographer, and she deuces, like, never to be seen again. I guess the only hope, the only people that Naoto has left is just his friend group. And I think I was telling you this. I always liked Nina Mori as the love interest.
Yeah, I do think like there's like, it's kind of sad, like characters like leaving and moving on.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think about it, in the sense is that he shouldn't have been with, even though I want him to be with Mamimi and Haruko, that's not the person he should have ended up with. And so he should have been in his own age group. He should have been with his own friends. Like that should have been that would have been the normal.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that Vespa hitting him in the first place.
Yeah.
He was hanging out with Mamimi, but like really, it was gonna evolve into his friend group hanging out with anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's sad. I just think it's like the exceptions of growing up.
Yeah. And it is a coming of age story. So
like he's legitimately like learning to grow up and becoming a person. And even though it's sad losing, like we lost like Haruko. She went to go chase after that magical power. Mamimi, who's homeless and poor, went on to pursue her dreams of being a photographer. She's obviously doing some good work, because that picture was in the magazine.
Yeah.
So I mean, it might have been a sad ending. Like it's like, but to me, I think it's just sad because it ended.
Yeah. Okay.
So
it wasn't necessarily a happy ending. It was like a reset ending.
Yeah.
Like and it just alludes to the future, like, what's Haruko going to do now? What's Naoto going to do? What's Mamimi up to? Where do they go from here?
I think they just
go before all these other, we don't know what the new anime looks like because we haven't seen it. But yeah, now it's just alluded. Everything comes back to normal.
Yeah, everything goes back to normal.
Naoto can live a normal life,
which is fine. Like that should be. Not everyone gets to meet an alien and fornicate with them. So let's finish on this outro.
All right.
I said this. I didn't like the outro.
I think it's goated.
I did like it. I liked it. I don't think it's goated.
I think it's goated.
But like, I do think that Fully-Cooley's outro, great music, of course.
Yeah. And
interesting that they chose to do a POV of the Vespa.
Yeah. Going
through like a typical Japan neighborhood.
Yeah. It just adds to like Haruko's mystique. Now you have like the Vespa in real life, like traveling around like.
I mean, it was definitely like in 2001. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it tracks for me. But again, the music for this anime was amazing. Man, dude, it was a good episode. Fucking A, man. Fully-Cooley was just a phenomenal anime. I recommend everybody, every anime lover or every person that's trying to get an anime, everyone at one point should watch Fully-Cooley.
At one point, if you've seen more than like 5 or 6 anime, go check out Fully-Cooley.
Yeah, it's not such an investment.
Yeah.
But don't put this as your first anime.
Yeah, it's over the top. You still might enjoy it if it is your quote unquote first, but I don't know. What was your first anime? I'd say like my OG is probably like Dragon Ball Z, Yu Hakusho.
Yeah,
those are the staples.
Yeah, those I don't even know what I would recommend. What would you recommend for a first anime watcher?
First anime, Death Note.
Death Note is a safe choice.
I
would say Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer is pretty safe.
Yeah, that's a safe choice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say My Hero because My Hero is boring.
See, my sister likes anime, but she didn't like One Piece. I was gonna say, or not One Piece, One Punch Man, and I was really surprised at that.
Yeah, I'd put One Punch Man on that list.
I would think One Punch Man is approachable.
Maybe because it's crass humor.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What's you guys' first recommendation?
Yeah,
if you were going to tell someone to watch an anime and they've never seen anime, what should they be introduced to?
I'm going to say Demon Slayer, and you said Death Note. We'll leave it at that. Yeah. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah,
that's a safe one.
I've seen Full Metal Alchemist, but I haven't seen Brotherhood.
Yeah, so. I mean that's the safe one.
That one's pretty safe.
Afro Samurai could be a good. They're a little off.
I don't know if you're looking for shonen, you just name the big 3: Naruto, Bleach. I wouldn't ever recommend One Piece to anybody.
I wouldn't recommend any of those 3 because they're too daunting to watch.
Okay, yeah, it is daunting.
Yeah, you're gonna watch an anime that's daunting, and people do that. Pisses me off. Everyone's like, "Oh, top 3 animes to watch: One Piece, obviously." Like, are you kidding me?
Dude.
No, that's not your first. You should never recommend that to a first anime lover. You know what I would recommend to a first anime lover? I would recommend Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, a movie. Exactly. There you go.
Super safe.
There you go.
Super safe. I would recommend that. Your Name, Silent Voice. These animes are deep.
Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke. That might be too a little abstract.
Yeah, that might be a little.
Yeah, but Studio Ghibli I think is a safe bet.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting off track, but let's go ahead and end this episode, guys. Yeah, let us know in the chat what you think about what animes or what you should watch, what you recommend for a first anime watcher. We did Fooly Cooly. It was awesome. This is an amazing anime. Y'all should check it out. Make sure to share, like, and subscribe. Tell everyone about it. And we'll catch you guys later. All right. Bye.
Later. See, that was much better.
Much better than the first thing. How long was that?
An hour and 40 minutes.
Worth it.